Well, so my first question would be, in this biennium, how the DHS budget is going to help us that need care, especially home care, because home care is really important issue to a lot of people that are homebound or that just don't get out or can't go as many places as other people. So the home care is the first thing, and the budget is
Well, there are two reasons to strongly support home health care. One is frankly a financial one. We want to keep people at home because it's less expensive. We don't want them in nursing homes. We don't want them in assisted living facilities. But the more important one is one of a humanitarian one. People do better in their homes. They like living in their own homes. And a small amount of care that we can give them in their homes and keep them stable there and keep them independent there as long as possible is the direction the state has gone in the past and we want to continue to go. And the DHS budget supports that principle. We're going to keep pushing that direction. We'll use federal stimulus money to maintain those programs. And as we said earlier tonight, if necessary, we may go to some new revenues to the state for it.
Well, great. We really appreciate you taking your time with us and coming to talk to Dude. And also, how will it affect us in the long run, like the next biennium, which would be, 2010 and 11, right? How would these, will we have the subsidies to keep on getting that good care and even care for people who may not have it now that will need it in that time?
My sense is that we will. I can't completely guarantee that, and let me tell you why. If the budget shortfall stays where it's at right now, which is substantial, but if it stays where it's at right now, we'll be able to continue to fund those programs at the present level. If we have a massive change in the budget, if we lose $2 or $3 more billion, then everything is back on the table and it'll be a whole new discussion. We'll have that in May and June. Hopefully, we're sort of at the bottom of this. It's not going to get any worse. It's going to bump along there and slowly come back up in 2010. If that occurs, we'll be able to maintain these programs. And that's our goal, is to maintain these programs.
Great. And if we, how do we, what can we do to continue to get the matching funds, or actually it's more than matching, it's matching then again match.
Yeah,
so
it's almost a 2-to-1 match.
Exactly, that's a great match. What can we do to get those funds, and how can we help our people to go for that and legislate that?
Well, we've got several ways of doing that. One, we have what we call a provider tax that presently is being paid by nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Because of that, they bring down more federal match, and the money we normally have to use for that, we can then use for home care instead. So it's sort of a shift of money that way. I know it's kind of complicated, but if it weren't for that provider tax, we wouldn't have as much money to bring down that federal money for the match programs. Now, the provider tax matches money for nursing homes, admittedly, but we don't have to put as much state money in for that, and that state money flows back into home health programs.
Well, that sounds like it. I hope you have a great trip up to Salem, but I have one more question, if you like.
Yes.
About the School for the Blind in Salem, and what they're going to do about that, and what they propose, and where does that stand now, and why?
The School for the Blind is down to about, I believe, 18 students right now. I could be wrong by 1 or 2 counts there. Most of the blind people in our state now are, especially young people, are no longer in schools for the blind. Our society's opened up to these people. Hopefully, will always stay that way. So most of them are obtaining their education now as members of their peer groups in their own communities. And many of the people who still are in those state institutions like the School for the Blind are there for reasons other than just blindness. They have other disabilities that make it difficult, if not impossible, to be in the mainline schools. Our question to ourselves is, how do we make that school more appropriate for the people who are there, an appropriate location for them? We may be combining with another school. We're not sure what the best approach is yet. We're talking to those people and their families to try to decide what's the best program for these individuals.
Well, being a person who has attended a school for the blind from the time I was 4 until I was 19, I would say that from my perspective, I got a great education. It's not for everybody, but there are people who really need that, and there are people who can get along otherwise. And I think that if you give them that opportunity, they'll thrive and they'll learn better because they are around their own people who kind of understand what they go through, what we go through all the time. So, I mean, there's, for and against all that.
Right.
And then the big thing that we as blind people talk about is being able to get around from point A to point B. If we had a school and we needed mobility training and we needed to get around, and if it's co-located where there's no bus line or there's only a bus line or there's nowhere to walk and no way to go anywhere, you're not going to learn mobility. But there's so many different issues, and that's only one, but it's a really big one.
I agree.
And so, just kind of
I think the real answer to this issue is individual choice.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Give an opportunity so the individual and their family can make the decision what's best for that student, whether it be at the state school for the blind or in their own community. And I like to see that choice maintained.
Well, thanks so much for coming and spending your time with us. And
I
hope to see you
appreciate. Well, I
again.
appreciate you coming.
Really
It's
soon.
it's late evening for everybody, and I do appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. Have
Okay.
a great day.
You too.